Journey Chick on Instagram. It's Friday. Yes, Friday dance. Oh my God. It was only a 4-day week, but oh, it was a long one. I'm slow dancing because my back is a little stiff today. Oh my God. I got these new pants. They're crazy looking. Look. Oh my God. Look at them. I don't care. I'm wearing them to work. It's just me and a coworker at work today. My boss is, she had to go to a funeral. Her uncle died from COVID. The Delta variant. Yes, we have it here in Kansas. I think I mentioned that in another show. Anyway, I did not diamond paint yesterday. Oh, not at all. I left work at 3 o'clock. I was supposed to do physical therapy, but I had this horrendous headache yesterday, and it started about noon, and so about 1 o'clock I said, well, let me go. Maybe I should eat, because it's 1 o'clock. I was just busy doing something. I don't know what. So at 1 o'clock I decided, let me go get something to eat, and so I did, and that didn't help. So at 2:30 I walked over to the physical therapy, because it's right down the hall, my physical therapist, and I said, can we do this another time? So she rescheduled it for next week, which I'm sad about because my back's really hurting today. Anyway, whatever. I think it's just getting old, So I go home and I took something, Tylenol or something, and I was trying to talk to Mickey and I just couldn't concentrate on the conversation. Played a little Animal Crossing, and that seemed to help. I think all my muscles were like this, because some things were happening at work, some deadlines and things that needed to be expedited, which is always fun. Yeah, but it got done. So before I left, I made sure it got done. I don't know. So, yeah, anyway. And I sat in bed last night, did a little cross stitching until Stitch came along and decided he was going to help me. And what he does is, I've got the cross stitch in front of me. He sneaks around the back and he just claws wherever I'm cross stitching. I'm like, no, stop. Yeah, this cat. They are just like little terrorists, these two, Stitch and Pearl. In the morning, they slept last night in the bed, but this morning, it's like they've been shot out of a cannon. They are all over the place playing. I have this oriental screen that I had up, and this morning one of them gets in front of the screen, one of them gets in the back of the screen and knocks it down on top of the other one. Pearl knocks it down on top of Stitch. I'm like, oh, really, guys? So I put it back up thinking, okay, they'll leave it alone now. Nope. Exact same thing. Pearl knocks it down on top of Stitch. I guess this is the thing. So I folded it up, put it away. Like nothing is safe. Oh, these cats. Hi, honey. Tootsie's here. She's here for the show, my co-host. Do you want to come say hello? Hello, good morning, it's Friday. Oh, I got my ticket to see Daughtry. $25 this thing. Well, $30 with the tax and fees and all that nonsense. To go sit in front of this amphitheater in Central Park over in the town where my son lives. And he's not interested. Him and his wife are going out of town this weekend. They are both fighting in a they do mixed martial arts, so both of them. It's crazy. They're really good. They're fighting in the state championships this weekend for adults. Yeah, my son has been doing this since he was 4 years old, 5 years old. Yeah, he's really good. And his wife, she just took it up a couple years ago, or maybe even a year ago, and she's really good. Man, she's good. So they're doing state championships this weekend, providing that, they got over their colds. So I'm going to go sit on the lawn in front of this amphitheater in the park. I'm going to take a lawn chair. I need to go buy one. I thought I had one, but I think it broke. So I'm going to buy one. Take some bug spray with me, maybe something to drink, and sit and watch Audrey. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I just love his music. You know, I think I'm a rock and roll fan at heart. You know, not the crazy stuff, but like I love to sit and listen to classic rock. I like all kinds of music, but yeah. Okay, go sit down. Go sit down. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Oh, goodness. And man, if I pay attention to those cats, I gotta pay attention to her. I came home from work yesterday, and first thing I did, first thing we all do sometimes is we go to the bathroom. Because, I had to go to the bathroom. So, and all three of them come in the bathroom. Pearl's on the bathtub, Tootsie's right there, and Stitch comes between Tootsie's legs. They all got to see Mommy. It was kind of cute. Kind of cute. They have to go to the bathroom with me. And my bathroom, I have this super narrow bathroom. It's a weird layout, but they all managed to fit in. So I'm actually doing the same symbol as I was doing yesterday. Like I said, literally no diamond painting yesterday. None got done. So I might be falling behind my original date. But I set that date with the mystery diamond painting in mind, and I don't know that we're going to start when we thought we were going to start, which would be July 15th. We may have to move that start date to August 1st because not everybody has their painting yet. Including my co-host Mickey Sunshine Creates, who will be live tonight at 7 Central Time. So tune in for her. She's a hoot. I always laugh in her live. And then after that, I think maybe DP Addiction Adventures. We don't know for sure because she's on maternity leave with her new baby. So I don't know. She might be. If she does, she always has some really funny stories, and maybe she'll have some funny stories about the baby. I don't know. I'm curious if her daughter Lydia has learned to change diapers yet. I'm sure she probably has. She's 13 and, really a sweet, sweet age. Yes, we know what 13-year-old girls are like. Yeah, I raised one. I know. So today is National Car Collector Appreciation Day. So this is a day to celebrate all those people out there who restore classic cars. Now, I personally don't know anybody that does this. Back when I was married, my sister and brother-in-law were in a car collector club where everybody collected Volkswagens, and they would restore these Volkswagen Beetles. But every now and then I will see, like at the local Spangles, this hamburger joint, they'll have like a day where they everybody comes and shows off their classic car, and the hoods will be open so you can see all the parts that they've collected and restored, and people spend hours and hours and hours and tons of time restoring these vehicles, and they're gorgeous. When you see one on the road, you're like, wow, yeah, it's very cool. So let me know if you guys are into that. If somebody does that, that's kind of cool. And I'm sure it's a big thing here in Kansas. I just don't know where. There is a shopping plaza up around the corner from me that, it's where the Harbor Freight is. And every now and then they have classic cars in there too. They'll have little classic car get-togethers. But it's not something that I like park and get out of my vehicle and go look at, because it's just not my thing. So If it's your thing, tell me about it, because today is your day. Classic car collector day. I think like Jay Leno, I know Jay Leno collects cars and motorcycles and all that good stuff. How did this drill get in there? Wow, that's weird. Just a little stray drill of a whole different color. Anyway, I'm so glad it's Friday. So glad. Yes, once again, it's, house cleaning time this weekend. Last night after I figured out I couldn't cross stitch anymore because of the kitties, what was I watching? I was watching a silly show, Too Hot to Handle. It's just a ridiculous show, but it teaches these sex craved young adults how to become emotionally connected with their partners, because they come on the show. These are all really gorgeous young adults, men and women, and their aim is to have sex with everybody. And so the first rule at this little retreat is you cannot have sex, you cannot kiss, you cannot, you can't do any of that. No foreplay, no nothing. You just, if you're attracted to someone, you just simply have to have conversations with them, and so this is how the show goes. And so as the show progresses, and there is money at the end for some of them, as the show progresses, they see who's made the most progress, and two couples became really emotionally connected and decided to continue their relationships outside the show. I know it's stupid. Why am I watching this? Because you can sit. It's one of those shows that doesn't require a lot of thought. You don't even have to be watching, really, to be honest with you. So I was cross stitching and watching this silly show. But anyway, so after that was over, I looked at my my Apple Watch, and I hadn't quite reached my goal for the day. So I got out of bed and I just walked around the house for like 10 minutes until I reached my goal. I wasn't far from it. So I just walked, and the animals were like, "What are you doing?" And they would follow me from room to room. Yeah. I feel like what's the character with all the animals? Is that Dr. Doolittle, or I don't know. Maybe that's what I am. I don't know. I've got like my little animal. All I need is like some birds and fish, and oh my god, it's too much. It's too much. I am glad that I adopted the two kittens together, because they really are so sweet together. Here's some cat capers for today. I filmed that yesterday. I had two films for yesterday, because yesterday morning they were like nuts. They're really nuts in the morning. They were cute this morning too, but I didn't catch any of it on film. So this morning, one of the first things I do is I grab a cup of coffee and I will sit and I'll do some research for the show on my iPad. And Stitch is like, "Oh, you've got the iPad out. I want to play." So I took the mouse game on so Stitch can play the mouse game. He loves that game. So he sat in my lap and he played the little mouse game. And finally, he decided whatever the other two animals were doing was more interesting, so he left. This is so pretty here. Oh my god, this is going to be gorgeous with the sparklers that I put in. Yeah. Really, really pretty. Anyway, I digress. I'm trying to think what's going on. Oh, Diamond Art Club. The release for this weekend. One of them is a Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It's one that I actually probably about a year and a half ago, I bought the Haid chart for this, that I was going to convert it to a diamond painting. I never did it, never even started it, but I have the Haid chart. I could cross stitch it, it would be huge. My mistake when I bought it is I didn't buy the mini, or maybe I did buy that one in mini. I don't know, I'll have to check. If it's a mini, I could actually cross stitch it or diamond paint it. Or I could just order the Diamond Art Club one for this weekend. But I don't think I'm going to. I have enough diamond paintings like on the way. I have a couple of companies that have asked me to try out their products, so those are on the way. So I really, yeah. I think I'm going to not order it. But I think it's going to be a huge seller this weekend. I really do. It's so pretty. It's part of her Strangeling collection, and it's sort of a steampunk girl, big-eyed girl, of course, and she's got a dragon sitting next to her. It's a super cute painting, super cute. And Diamond Art Club didn't do it in like the biggest possible. It's like a reasonable size. It's more the size of maybe like the Hannah Lynn that's over here, which, oh, you guys can't see it. It's that way, the Hannah Lynn. Let me guys show you. For my new subscribers, it's the Year of Alice. I finished Hannah Lynn there that you can see. There's my wall of Alice. Sorry for the motion, guys. So you can see my wall over here, kind of, sort of. Not the ring light is in the way. But all of this over here this whole wall is Alice in Wonderland paintings by different artists. We have, oh God, what's his name? Anthony Cristo, Mandy Manzano, Hannah Lynn, Tamara Laporte. The one in the corner is a stock image from Evermoment. Lizzie Falcon, and another one from Diamond Art Club, different artist. I forget her name. The one in the bottle up there, Alice in a Bottle. I forget that woman's name, but so I try to do all different artists. The artist that I'm working on now is Sherry Baldy. The next one that I start will be a Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It's a Craftably. So I'm trying to, I'm doing the Year of Alice, but I'm trying to get all of the different versions from each artist. So it's a cool thing for me to be doing. I just think it's kind of cool to spread it out amongst all of the artists. And I do have another Anthony Cristo that I'm working on. That I will, if I finish this one up soon, I'll get that one out and work on that until the Mystery Diamond painting starts. And I'll kit up the Jasmine Beckett Griffith one. It's Craftably, and it's called Alice Van Gogh, and it's got sort of a Van Gogh theme behind Alice, and it's a really cute painting. Diamond Art Club came out with a very similar one, same artist, but they changed it up a bit. Well, they had to, because you can't release the same painting. What happened was Craftably had signed had licensed some of her artwork, Jasmine's artwork, and then she went over to Diamond Art Club and licensed some more artwork, which is, I mean, it's okay. It's what's happening in the industry now. You'll see, Dreamer Design also has Chuck Penson's, and they also have Dominic Davison's. You'll see a lot of the artists with different companies because you don't license the artist, you license their artwork. So even Treasure Studios has an artist that also has licensed work with Diamond Art Club, but she licensed some of her work for Treasure Studios. It's just the way it goes in the industry. Yeah. And there's nothing unethical or wrong with any of it. It's just the way it goes. You're an artist is free to sell their artwork to anybody. Some artists do paintings that they do commissions, and they're not allowed. It's painted for a certain person, and they can't license that artwork to anybody else because it was commissioned by someone. So there's a lot of nuances to artwork. Well, where did I go off on that? I don't know why. Because there's not a lot of judge, jury, and jury going on today. This trial for me is so confusing. So yesterday, I listened to the rest of the testimony from the lead investigator. And some of the things that he had to say were that when they processed the vehicle, they did find blood in her car. It was on the steering wheel. It was kind of like all over the car. So they did collect DNA from several places on the car. He said there were no wounds on her hands, and because they looked at her hands, no, and she said, no, I wasn't injured, which is kind of weird. I mean, I guess, no, it's not. Anyway, because there's no reason why she would have touched the blade of the knife. And there was blood on her shirt. So all of that was submitted to the crime laboratory for processing. So, of course, the defense attorney gets up and he makes a big deal. Well, why didn't you submit Guy Hand's clothes for processing? Because he wasn't a suspect. And he's like, well, why wasn't he a suspect? And he's just not letting this Guy Hand thing go. And the investigator says, the evidence doesn't support that Guy Hand had anything to do with this. I don't know why he keeps insisting that this Guy Hand is the stabber, when we know that during this interview, even though it was hard to hear, she does say that she stabbed him, and that when she stabbed him, he ran away. So, and that I may not have told you that detail before, because this comes out during the rest of the testimony. Some of the, the officer, the lead investigator is able to clarify some of what she testified or what she said during their casual interview, where she wasn't given her Miranda warnings and she wasn't arrested afterwards, but she does say that she stabbed him. She was very upset because he, in this game chat, he tells her he doesn't love her anymore. What a horrible thing to do in this League of Legends game chat. Yeah. So, and one of the things I thought you might be interested in, because the next witness is the medical examiner. Here is a picture of the knife that was used. Now, as you recall, Guy Hand is the boyfriend of the mother of the victim. It's her house. They've lived there together for 3 years. And as of the date of this trial, they've lived together for 6 years. He used to be a butcher, now he's a welder. But anyway, this was his knife when he was a butcher. It's a very large knife. So I'll show you this knife. And yes, it does have some blood on it. Because one of the things that the defense is insisting on is that Guy Hand washed off the knife. Well, he didn't. So, but one of the interesting, well, I'll tell you this later, but that comes later. So anyway, the medical examiner comes next, and this guy he was stabbed in the right chest, and it went like across his chest. So in the right side of his chest, and it was very deep there, and it wasn't so deep towards the end, but what it does is it slices two major blood vessels and punctures the left lung and so now it's all putting pressure on the heart, all this blood and everything, and I mean it just wasn't survivable. So this is what he says killed him. This was the wound that killed him. But he had other wounds. He had a stab wound on his thigh, his right thigh, the left side of his abdomen, and his hands, which they were defensive wounds, which means he was either trying to hold her off or trying to get the knife out of her hands. And that'll often happen with victims where they just grab the blade and they get cut. So horrendous wounds. He said no, CPR would not have made a difference. This guy, he bled to death. So anyway, cause of death was the stab wound to the right chest, and the manner of death was ruled to be a homicide. Well, no. Oh, let me not say that phrase. No kidding. I'll say that phrase. I was going to say something else. Sherlock. And they show pictures of the body. We didn't get to see them, but they always show these things to the jury. I don't know why. It's like, we get it. He was stabbed to death. I don't want to see the dead person. I've talked about this before, my thoughts on that. But it's always shown to the jury. So they got to see the autopsy, and he had to do a full autopsy to make sure that there was nothing else going on that might have contributed to his death. And he said, no, this guy was perfectly healthy. They did drug tests. The only drug he had in his system was caffeine. So she said, would that be consistent with, drinking Coca-Cola or coffee? He says, yeah, and it was no more than you or I would have in our system. So that got a little chuckle. Perfectly healthy, caffeine. You won't find caffeine in my system, but most people you might find caffeine, yeah. So obviously it was definitely the stab wound that killed him. So the next witness is the crime lab person who does all the serology. So she spends like an hour explaining DNA, what it is, what she does, blah, blah, blah. I was fast forwarding through this part. So interestingly enough, all the DNA that was collected from the vehicle, from the clothing, was all consistent with the victim, James Berry. All over her car, the blood was James Berry's. Her shirt, the blood was James Berry's. The knife, it was all, but the shirt and the vehicle, all that blood, it identified two people, not just one. She had the blood of two people on her. Now, she said she wasn't injured. So who else's blood is this? Who else's DNA? Not necessarily blood, but somebody else's DNA is in her car, collected. But, and here's where the defense attorney's making a big deal, because, well, why didn't you see if it was Guy Hand's DNA? You had a sample of Guy Hand's DNA. Why didn't you run it to see if it was Guy Hand who was this other DNA, unidentified DNA. And what she explained was there wasn't enough material anywhere to run a full panel of DNA of this other person, but we know that there was some other person. Isn't that interesting? So I'm sure that the defense attorney is going to make some hay out of this one. So I believe that this is the last witness. Tonight I will listen to closing arguments. I don't think this woman is going to take the stand in her own defense. So this has been a very bizarre trial. It really has. And it's going to get even more bizarre, guys. Just don't tune out. This gets really crazy. You know, there's closing arguments, and what comes next is really crazy. So tomorrow will be closing arguments. Yeah, headache or not, I'm going to bring you the closing arguments. It's Friday. I'll watch the lives. I'll watch Mickey's live. I'll watch Jen's live. But I will find time I'll probably listen to it at work today. I do have some time-sensitive stuff that I have to get out. But see, yesterday it's very difficult. I actually share an office with another coworker, and there's only one day a week where she and I are both there, and yesterday was that day. And I love her to death, but she's a talker, and we were trying to catch up with each other, see what was going on. She had spent the July 4th weekend up at she went camping for a week, so she had a lot of interesting stories. But today it'll be totally quiet. I'll be able to listen to the trial, focus on that, while getting my work done, and trying to relax my body so I don't get another headache. I haven't gotten a headache like that in a very long time. Of course, my allergies have been acting up this week. It could have been sinus related. I don't know. But whatever. It's always something, isn't it? If it's not one thing, it's another. So let's do this day in history. A couple of pretty interesting things happened this day in history. One I just wanted to kind of touch on briefly. Bob Dylan wrote the song Blowing in the Wind. The answer, my friend, hopefully I won't get a ding for that one from YouTube, is blowing in the wind. Actually, his version was not the one we all sang. His version was much different. It was, what was the group? I want to say Peter, Paul, and Mary that recorded it and made it into the version that we all sing now. So, because Bob Dylan is more of a songwriter than a singer. He says he wrote that song in 10 minutes. And he said it wasn't a protest song, but we know it was a protest song, against the Vietnam War. Yeah. Interesting. But here's the one I want to talk about. President Zachary Taylor dies unexpectedly. Now, I did not know this. This was on July 9th, 1850. He was the President of the United States, and he was celebrating July 4th. It's where the Washington Monument now stands, but this is where he was celebrating July 4th on that on those grounds. It had already been dedicated to build the Washington Monument there. So they were having festivities there, and he was eating, of all things, cherries. He was like eating all these cherries and drinking cold milk. Strange combination, but okay, we're gonna go with it. And there's it's controversial, very controversial about how he actually died. They never suspected foul play, which I find interesting. So he's drinking this cold milk and a large quantity of cherries, apparently. Around that time, there were outbreaks of cholera. And they said the sewage system was primitive at best, so they suspect maybe that the cold milk, because when he got back to where the White House where he was living, he drank a bunch of water too before he went to bed. So for the next 4 days, he suffers from severe gastrointestinal symptoms. Some sources say he got gastroenteritis that was caused by the highly acidic cherries combined with the fresh milk. Okay, I don't know about that. Some people suspected food poisoning or typhoid fever. Nobody really knows. The official cause of death was cholera. But on the evening of July 9th, after suffering for 4 days, he passes away. And Millard Fillmore becomes the next president of the United States. Now, I never knew this story. So, I don't know why did I not learn this in history in high school? I have no idea. Someone is calling me. Maria Jimenez from Oxnard, California. Have no idea who that is. You're going to have to leave a message. I think that somebody has the wrong number. I think I'm finished with this symbol. Finally, it happened to me. Nope. Oh, I found one. Don't take your eye off of it. You'll lose it. Don't take your eye off it. Ta-da! Okay, we're going to cover this back up. I will be working on this while I listen to the lives tonight. Yup. If I can get these 2 sections done, I will still be on track. Yeah. Anyway. We all have a one-off day, but at least I got all my steps in yesterday. Between walking through the parking lot at work, several times I took laps around the hospital. My watch would say time to stand up, so I stand up and I walk around the hospital. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the show for today. Don't forget to tune in on tomorrow for the Saturday edition, while I will be covering the closing arguments of this Melanie Eam trial. And Sunday in my live at 11 a.m. Central Time, we're going to have 3 of the other 4 captains for the 90-day step challenge, which will be Tia, Crashley, and Crystal, are coming to join me. We're going to talk about how everybody's doing. We're going to recognize a few people, and there might even be a surprise during this live. You'll want to tune in to find out what that is. Anyway, I love you all, and I will see you sometime this weekend, maybe in a Zoom, maybe in Animal Crossing, maybe in a live. You never know where you're going to see me pop up.